Coming up, why doubt is actually a good thing, and then tech layoffs are coming, and disgruntled employees are petitioning for changes, and we're going to coach you up, so let's go. Welcome to the Ken Coleman Show, where we coach you up to have the competitive edge so you make more money and make more impact in your work. So let's dive into this. Doubt. I hear so much about the imposter syndrome, right? It's like we can't help ourselves, we humans. Got to come up with different ways to say stuff. That's not the point of my opening teaching today, but let's just frame this properly. When you hear imposter syndrome, it's doubt. It's all it is. But it's actually not a syndrome. Doubt's not a syndrome. Doubt is a symptom. It's a symptom that I'll unpack in just a moment. But it's not a syndrome. It's not a disease. It's not something that you have to medicate. Ouch. And you aren't an imposter if you experience doubt. You aren't this slimy, fraudulent, immoral, illegal person. And yet, when you take those two words, imposter and syndrome, that's what it means. So we've come up with this way of saying something that is kind of cute. Somebody thought it was cute. Somebody picked up on it. But I unpack this because all of that frames up doubt as this really negative thing. And I actually think that doubt is a sign of good things to come. A survey by Moneypenny found that 1 in 3 Americans suffer from imposter syndrome. With those between 18 and 24 experiencing it the most. 46% of 18 to 24-year-olds say they suffer from imposter syndrome. The study also revealed that women, 35%, tend to suffer more than men, 30%, from self-doubt in the workplace. So, again, this is prevalent, but let's call it what it is, good old-fashioned doubt. So, why do I think that doubt is a good thing? Because doubt is a sign that you are thinking about something in the future, that you are attempting to get to that desired future. Because in the process of looking forward, thinking ahead, and the process of moving forward, attempting to go from here to there, doubt is a part of the deal. In other words, for me to make progress, I must embrace change. For me to embrace change, I must embrace the unknown. And for me to embrace the unknown, I must also embrace failure. Now, you take all those things, change, the unknown, and then failure. Now, you just think about that. If you were to just sit and soak on, well, there's change and there's all this unknown and there's a good chance that there's going to be some failure in stepping into the unknown or doing something for the first time or trying something, then all of a sudden it's natural to have some doubts like this. Am I good enough? I don't think I'm good enough. I don't think I can be successful at it. I'm not sure it's going to work out. I'm not sure anybody will hire me. These are the voices of doubt. And instead of taking this term, this label, and I really think it's become a crutch. Because if you take this term, you go, oh, I'm dealing with imposter syndrome. What you do is you begin to create an excuse for yourself as why you aren't moving ahead at the speed of progress. You're sitting. You're licking your wounds. I'm dealing with imposter syndrome. So we take good old-fashioned doubt and we make it a disease and then we slap it on ourselves. And now all of a sudden we're the victim. I really believe this is what's going on here. So do you want to be a victim or do you want to be a victor? A victim says things like, I'm suffering from imposter syndrome. A victor goes, doubt is really trying to get me right now. And I know it's lingering. I know it's there, but I also know that I can't do it. I know that I might not be able to do it the first time. I know that I might not be very good at first. I know that I might need to learn some things. I know that I might hear some rejections along the way. See, what's funny about that is the response to doubt needs to be certainty. I doubt that I'm good enough. I need to respond to that with, I'm certain that I won't be as good when I start. I doubt that anybody will give me a chance. I'm certain that I'm going to hear some no's along the way. See, we take those doubts and we go, look, that's a part of the deal. The fact that I long for a desired future. I want to be something, do something, lose weight, restart a relationship, whatever it is in your life, pivot careers, start a business. Well, let me tell you something. That has future attached to it. It has change associated with it. It has the unknowns that come with change. It has absolute certain failure. While we're making this list up, it has absolute certain rejection. It has pain. It has frustration. That I'm certain of. And so when we begin to doubt, we need to flip that and go, hey, I'm certain that these things are going to happen, but I'm also certain that I can overcome it. I'm certain that I'm supposed to do it. And so this is when we begin to take doubt and we begin to reframe it. We go, hey, doubt shouldn't discourage me. Doubt should empower me. Let me say that again. Doubt shouldn't discourage me. Doubt should empower me. Now, this is a reframing that I've just laid out for you. To reframe doubt as, this is a good sign. This means that I'm thinking forward, I'm acting forward. And then that reframing allows us to harness the power. And that's what I mean by empowerment. All right. I doubt that I'm going to be able to ride this bike as well as I want to the first time. But you know what? I'm going to embrace getting out there and practicing riding the bike. I'm going to embrace wrecking and losing some skin on my knee. I'm going to embrace my dad holding the seat and making me look silly in front of my friends. I'm going to embrace it. Why? Because that's what it's necessary to do to go from doubt to doing. And when we long to do anything of worth, doubt is associated with it. So when you feel doubt, go, this is a good sign. The flip side of this is if a person goes through a long season of life or a short season and they don't experience any doubt, let me tell you what they're not doing. They're not thinking forward. They're not feeling forward. They're not acting in a way to go forward. So there you go. Don't let doubt hold you back. Harness it, overcome it, and power through it. Very excited about this. So we got an email from one of our audience members, Gabriella. She said, with Ken's advice about ZipRecruiter, I went to check it out. I received a call from one of their recruiters within days. I had 2 interviews with a well-known company, and I got the job in all caps. Hey, I like these kind of reports. She goes on to say, I never thought I'd land the gig. It's what I enjoy doing, and it aligns with my future path. The cherry on top, my starting salary is 45% more than her current salary, and she gets great benefits. Gabriella, you are amazing. And thank you, ZipRecruiter, my friends there. You are amazing. You helped her get out of the struggle and start striving forward to the life that she wants. And ZipRecruiter can help you. It's free to Gabriella, and it's free to you. ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. Go today. All right, couple of stories to get to that I think you need to hear about. Here we go. It's time for In the News. All right, CBS Market Watch. Their website, marketwatch.com, headline from great resignation to forced resignation. Now, before I go any further, don't freak out. Because sometimes I got to read these headlines on here in this segment. But these headline editors just live to be dramatic. I'd like to meet some headline writers. You know they were dramatic people. There's nothing wrong with it. It's good work. Dramatic people, though. You know, it'd be a fun exercise to go to a headline writer and go, all right, I need you to give some spice to this sentence. This is my favorite pencil. And then let them, they could turn that into something scary. Talk show host at risk of lead poisoning from favorite pencil. That's what they would do. It's amazing. Because, hey, the headline, this is my favorite pencil, doesn't get any clicks. Talk show host at risk of lead poisoning gets a click. That's how that works. All right. From great resignation to forced resignation, what are they talking about here? Well, quietly, there have been thousands of layoffs. I shouldn't say quietly. We've reported on some big ones here on the show. But obviously, the story has been a lot of people switching jobs, a lot of people upgrading their professional journeys. And so now with the inflation headline dominating and the impact of inflation, companies are going to start to go, we're going to slow down a little bit. If not a hiring freeze, slower hiring down. Or in some cases, they've had to lay people off because the economy has shifted. So Redfin, a real estate brokerage company, this is not just a tech company. They talk about a lot of tech companies with layoffs. Yes, but this is Redfin, a real estate company. Said they were going to reduce their headcount by 6% or 470 people. Coinbase, we're going to talk about them in our next story, laid off 1,100 people. That's 18%. They are a Bitcoin company. But, listen, Bitcoin's been getting crushed. 15,000 tech-related jobs have been or will be eliminated according to Layoffs.fyi, a website that tracks job cuts and startups. So you've got companies like Facebook, Intel, Microsoft, Uber, and Lyft all slowing down hiring or implementing hiring freezes. So if you're in the tech industry, I'm just saying we are in this unknown of the economy. And here's what I know about companies and their leadership. When you get into, we've had a couple things hitting it all around the same time. Inflation is just steadily going up. Supply chain issues have been an issue for 2+ years. Now you're looking at the Fed raising interest rates to try to cool the economy down. Stock market down. So what happens? Leaders start to go, hey, look, it looks like we got a storm coming, and we should probably prepare for the storm. This morning, I'm sitting in the office working, and all of a sudden it looked like all of heaven was about to drop on us. Wind blowing all over the place. I'm sitting there at my desk going, I left my windows open today because I didn't want it to be an oven when I got out there. So I'm sprinting like Carl Lewis to the parking lot to roll my windows up. Why? There was a storm coming. And so what do? I'm preparing for it. So these leaders will begin to do this, and that means they may freeze hiring. They may lay some people off just to go, you know what? We had a big bump in hiring. We see some signs. We see some actual data. And so what are they going to do? They're going to prepare for a season of storm. And so don't be caught off guard. We taught a lot about this. I wish I could reference what show it was, but we talked about an emergency job plan. And you got to be doing that at all times. Even if you're happy where you are, what if something bad happened? What would you do? Where would you go? All right, next story. Fox Business. Coinbase CEO tells unhappy employees quit and find a company you believe in. Uh-oh. So what's going on with this deal? This is a troubling trend. We've seen disgruntled Starbucks workers. We've reported on the show. They're attempting to create a union. And It's fascinating. I did a media hit the other night on News Nation, and they asked me about this. And I said, here's the deal. Let me first acknowledge that we have some horrible leadership in this country. Horrible. And horrible cultures. And that's a fact. However, when you work for a business, understand that this is not a democracy. Okay? Like, I'm all for, metaphorically, don't anybody freak out, storming the castle with the pitchforks. Okay? I'm all for it. Throw leaders out. But I mean that at the ballot box. All right? It's a metaphorical phrase here. But see, that's a democracy wherein the system is we elect our leaders to represent us. If we don't like them, we vote their butts out. But when you're working for a company, it is not a democracy. It is a meritocracy. Is it a healthy meritocracy all the time? No, it's not. I acknowledge that. And folks, I bang on bad leadership on your behalf. But these people, there's a group of them that put a petition together, and they were basically trying to oust the COO, Chief Operating Officer, the Chief Product Officer, and the Chief People Officer. What were they upset about? A decision to extend a hiring pause. Well, that's not your decision, disgruntled employee. That's the executive decision. And by the way, you don't have to like it. But doing a public petition is stupid. And that's what the CEO said, and he's right. He said, first of all, if you want to do a vote of no confidence, do it on me, not the executives. Who do you think's running this company? I think he's right. Then for whatever reason, they didn't include the CEO. That's curious. Second, he said, if you have no confidence in our leaders, then leave. He's right. He goes, posting this kind of stuff publicly is also unethical because it harms your fellow coworkers along with shareholders and customers. It's true. You take a public company like this and you do something stupid like this, trying to get your way, and it hurts stock price, and then it hurts people that are happy there. And I think what he said was right. Look, you want to criticize, do it privately, not publicly. And I agree with that. This idea, this notion that I work for a company, I don't like what they're doing, and I'm going to go public and try to shame them into doing what I want them to do. It's ludicrous. If you don't like the company you're at, come up with a plan and get out. Get out. Don't make a fool of yourself, because you're not going to actually get what you want doing it that way anyway. You're not a toddler. You're an adult. Act like one. Marissa is going to start us off in our coaching session. She joins us on the line in Denver, Colorado. Marissa, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. Thanks for taking my call.
You bet. What's up?
So, quick question. A couple of weeks ago, it was actually on May 12th, I had an in-person interview. And, well, first it was a phone interview, and things happened really fast. They offered about 5 days of options for an in-person interview, and I picked the first day on the list. I was just super eager for the next step, and I thought it would be a really good fit. So I went in for the in-person interview. It lasted about an hour. It was the recruiter and the manager. And about halfway through the interview itself, the manager said, you might be a good fit for another position that we have here at the company. So I thought that was a really good sign. Things were, progressing pretty quickly. So the whole interview lasted about an hour or so. The manager left the interview, and the recruiter gave me a tour of the office, the workspace, and he said, we'll reach out to you next week. Well, I left a couple of letters of recommendation that I had. They were kind of dated, but they were still good, so I left them with the recruiter. About 2 weeks later, on the 25th, the recruiter emailed me and said, hey, sorry for the delay, but we're meeting with the CEO this afternoon to figure out where to put you. So I thought that was a positive email, so I decided, just to wait it out. Well, it's been 3 weeks since that May 25th email, and in the interim, I got a more recent letter of recommendation from my current boss, which is an amazing, glowing letter of recommendation. So I sent it over kind of cheating and, being like, just checking in. If you have any questions, here's this new, recent letter. Let me know if you have any questions. and I still haven't heard anything. So I'm super confused. And the last thing that I want to bring up is I'm still on a couple of job boards, and they had posted a couple of new positions that are super similar to the job description that I applied for, except the salary range is a lot lower, and it's so low that I probably wouldn't even apply to these new jobs. So I'm confused, and they kind of went radio silent on me and don't know what to do.
Okay, so couple quick clarifying questions. When was the date of the last glowing letter that you sent to them? When was that?
The email that I sent with the new letter of recommendation was probably a week and a half to 2 weeks ago.
Okay. And you said on this job board, this isn't the same company you're applying to that is putting out these positions. These are different companies.
Nope, it's the same company.
Oh, so they're putting out what essentially looks like the job that you've been trying to get. And now they're not only are they putting it out there, it's less money than what you were looking at.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Number one, I totally understand why you're confused. Number two, I also don't think that necessarily that they're ghosting you. Don't have enough evidence for me to believe that yet, because all along the way they've been kind of, communicating with you, and it has been positive. I would take everything that you told me as positive. So I think your instincts are right. I just I wouldn't stew over this anymore. I'm looking at other things, and I'm moving forward with other things. And if they get back to you while you're in the hunt for something else, great. But I love the clarity that you have that, if they are looking for somebody who's cheaper than me, all power to them, because I'm not going to take that job for that amount of money if that's what they are doing. Mm-hmm. If they're just putting you on hold while they try to find somebody else, which they very well could be doing. But I don't think that's ghosting you. I think that that's just kind of they're dragging their feet, and that's okay. So yeah, no more stewing. And if for some reason it works out and they get back to you and they want you, then you can decide if you want them. But I would not be waiting on them anymore.
No, I can't wait on them anymore. I'm done with my current place. I mean, I'm still working there, but I don't have the leadership is changing. I don't have the passion. I have drive. I have ambition. Like, I'm ready for the next chapter, and I really thought this was a good fit. So that's why I was super excited about it. But
sure.
I think you're right. I can't just dwell on this anymore. I have to find the right fit, and I'm not sure.
Yes, you are.
Do you think
yes, you are.
This is indicative?
Hold on a second. I want to answer your follow-up, but I want to tell you, you are sure what you want. You identified something, and it may or may not work out. But that clarity and confidence stays with you. Disappointed, yes, because we got excited about this, right? But we're not going to stop.
No.
So you do know what you want.
That's true.
All right, go ahead. Follow-up
That's
question.
True. Follow-up, is this indicative of how they run things, like how they do business? I mean,
sure.
Are my expectations too high that they should be, reach out and say, we're still working on this, hang tight, or, we're things are taking longer than expected. Should they touch base with me at any point, or is this just normal business?
Yeah, I think at some point, it's been a week and a half, so it's a little long for my taste. I think that's absolutely not, I think they should have gotten back to you with something, yes.
Okay.
But again, your expectation, we don't need to stew on this. Yes, they should have communicated better. They have communicated with you along the way. They've told you some good things. But yes, they should communicate better. But companies don't do that. They just don't. Most of them don't. Mm-hmm. So is it indicative of how they run their business? Possibly. It could just be in the world of hiring. They're looking at everything. They're running hot. And they're not communicating as well as they should. I just wouldn't read too much into it.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that. I'm just, like I said, ready for the next chapter, and I just, want to give 110% at my next gig.
And you will. You will. But you know what? Now you need to shift to, I need to give 110% to finding new opportunities.
Yeah, I do. Okay.
And you will.
All right.
Yeah, Marissa, you got this. I'm really proud of you. You're asking the right questions.
Awesome.
And it's a really mature response, It's like, okay. I mean, this is like this is, I don't know why I'm laughing, but it's like, I wish I could sit down with leaders and go, listen to me. You are going to have to create a system by which you communicate well with decent candidates or really good candidates. Because I love the idea of a company going, all right, I want to try to get 3 or 5 really good candidates for each position. I mean, I think that's ideal. I love the process of meeting with several people who is best. But you got a Marissa on the line over here, and she's a rock star. I can just tell you she is. And she also makes a very good point when she asks the question, is the way they're treating me and communicating to me during the interview process indicative of how they might lead me or what the culture's like? And the answer is, on some level, yes. I can't tell you if it's 20%, 40%, 60%, 80%, but on some level, yes. And leaders, listen to me. You can only grow your company to the level of your ability to lead and the talent that you lead. It is your leadership ability and the talent that you lead. That's it. End of story. Like, we make winning in business so hard. Get the right people on the right seat of the bus and treat them the right way. There it is. You want to know how to win in business, Alex? There's my new business book. It's got 3 pages in it. That's it. First page says, hire the right people. Second page is, get them on the right seat of the bus. And the third page is, treat them the right way. There it is, folks. Greatest business book ever written. Right there. 3 pages. What are we doing, leaders? That's what you're doing every day. Going, wait a second. Did we as a company, are we focused on getting the right people? Are we putting them in the right seat of the bus? Are we treating them the right way? Check, check, check. Boom. We're going to be great. Jacob is up in Canton, Michigan. Jacob, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken. How are you?
I'm living the dream, Jacob. What's going on?
Hey, nothing much, man. Can I just start by saying what you guys do is really awesome, man? I mean, there's a lot of people that need help. I just want to, emphasize that with you and your team. You guys make a big impact.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so the reason why I'm calling today is I'm struggling to find fulfilling work. I've had a couple of jobs over the past 3 years, and every time I kind of seem to miss the mark, whether that just be I just get kind of burnt out or, I kind of figure out the job isn't really for me. And I wanted to talk to you and see where you'd recommend me, looking or things that I can do to kind of find my career, because I'm getting a little sick of job hopping every, 2 years.
Sure. Well, that's what I do. Let's start with what you know.
Well, I have my bachelor's degree in health and safety. I've worked in manufacturing. I've worked in construction. I've worked in healthcare. In a lot of roles, been.
Yeah, but when I say what you know about yourself, and what I mean by that is, what do you want to do? What do you wonder about? A guy like you who's hopped jobs a lot, I don't think it's because you're shiftless. I don't think it's because you're a flake. I think it's because you're searching. Is that true or false? So what do you wonder about? So a guy who's searching is a wanderer. I love wanderers. Wanderers are really fun to coach. And I think you got the answer right there on the top of your heart. What is it that you really want to do?
Oh, I really love writing fantasy novels. I've been working on one for the past couple of weeks now, a little over 20,000 words.
All right, so let me ask you this.
Sure.
If you knew you could be successful to the point of taking care of your family, would you do it full time? Would it be any question at all? How long would you pause if I handed it to you? I was like, okay, Jacob, I'd like to know if you would like to take this envelope. And if you open this envelope, it means you're going to be a very successful fiction writer. How long would it take you to rip that envelope out of my hand?
Not even a second.
Okay. All right, so here's the deal. What is keeping you from doing that? I want you to be real honest. Give me a couple of things. Real things, practical things. Because I know the answer, but I want you to hear yourself say it. Go.
Yeah, of course. Income, for one. I mean, let's be honest, anything creative is very difficult to make a living.
Well, you're not good enough, known enough, experienced enough to actually generate the income necessary to be able to take care of your needs. That's great. That's one item. That's what's keeping you from doing it. Great. What's another thing that's keeping you from doing it?
Oh man,
Come on, be honest.
I'm just kind of afraid I'm going to burn out again. You know, if I must be really real with you, I just
Afraid if you try it and it doesn't work out that you're just one more disappointment.
Yeah.
All right. So here's the deal. What must be true for you to be a fiction writer? You're going to have a solid day job, and you're going to have a mindset in that day job that this day job is just a day job. But this day job is no longer something that's going to fulfill me the way that my true dream is, which is writing. And so if it's going to take me time to write fiction, I'm going to try writing some fiction in short form instead of trying to get the big giant book deal. I'm going to start doing some small, steady writing, and I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to show my work. Whether I do my own audiobook of it, or I do a podcast based on the fiction stories, or I just start putting fiction out on Amazon and I figure out how to sell it myself. Well, you got to start pursuing that. Here's why. In the pursuit of the fiction writing, while having a stable day job, I think what is going to happen is it will be revealed to you the type of creative work that could be in addition to fiction writing. I think the answer to what your dream job is pursuing the fiction on the side. But I also am going to give you my Get Clear career assessment right now, and I'm going to give you the book, the companion to it, From Paycheck to Purpose. One is going to help you identify the mountain. The other, help you climb it. Hang on the line. Coaching continues if you are really stuck. You're in a bit of a career nightmare. And you're going, I just need some, I feel like I'm in a tornado, Ken. I'll think about the future later, but I need help in the now. We really would love to help you. And if those are sensitive calls, we can change your name, location, the whole 9 yards. Email us, ask@kencoleman.com, ask@kencoleman.com. I want to help out more with some career nightmares. Also, while I'm thinking of it, if you've got a career nightmare that you've since gotten out of, and I mean, it is just delicious and horrible, and you want to share it, we'll change your name and location too, but I would love for you to just call in and share the story. You're out of it, but I think that would encourage a lot of people as well. 844-747-2577. Leah is up in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Leah, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. How are you?
I'm living the dream, Leah. What's going on?
So I feel like I'm in a boomerang type of situation. So I've been a former boomerang person, and now it's coming up again. Yeah. So during the whole Great Resignation, I decided to jump ship at my job and switch counties to do a different role. And to give you some background, I'm in the child welfare system.
Okay.
And so we get the options to kind of hop from county to county, but still do the same job or, switch to a different department.
Okay.
So I decided to switch counties and then switch departments also, and now I'm regretting it.
What is making you regret it?
The lack of organization. I feel like I'm not really set up for success in the role that I'm in right now.
So it's a combination of leadership and systems.
Yeah, and then it just makes me think of all the stuff that I really did enjoy about, the job that I left.
Yeah. What made you leave the other department?
So I started graduate school, so I think I kind of quit preemptively because I didn't want to become too stressed out. I was doing child protective services, so I thought, you know what, I'll do something a little less stressful. So then I switched, and then I hate it.
Yeah. Well, so it sounds like because it's governmental, you've got a lot of experience. Sounds like you could boomerang back. You've done it before. So what is the reason for calling me today?
I think I'm just worried that I'm going to just keep jumping ship, keep going back and forth, and I don't know what exactly needs to change in my mindset to not continue to do that, because I don't want it to be like a reoccurring pattern, because I don't want it to look bad.
Okay, there we go. Now we're at the source of this. Okay, but what you identified as to why you hate the current position, you're not going to be able to fix.
Right.
It's only going to make you more miserable. It's just that office runs differently. It doesn't run effectively. It's a government agency. So when you got poor leadership at a government agency, I got to tell you, you want to talk about no hope. That sounds like no hope to me. So you're not leaving for a flaky reason. So let's just look at truth versus what you're worried about people thinking. Let's also look at the alternative. If you stay where you are, all because you're worried about what somebody might think or say about you, that ain't going to make you feel any better every Monday morning. So we got to be a big girl. This is adult stuff. So there's no viable reason for staying. I also don't think it's going to make you look like a flake. I just think government work, especially if you stay in this. Now, if you leave and go to the private sector and you do similar type of work, which you know how to describe what you do, you know.
Right.
Doesn't make you look like a flake at all. It makes you look like, you know what? I love the work. I love the mission. Didn't like the environment. And I think the private sector would understand that. It doesn't make you look like a flake at all. I just don't see the narrative that you're worried about forming. I just don't see it forming. Now, if you want to stay in this work and the grad school thing and you think you won't be stressed out, because is that still out there? Are you still in grad school?
Yeah, I will be done next year in May.
Okay, so let's just say that I could call up the old office today. And I got him on the phone and I said, hey, Ken Coleman here, and I tell them who I am and all this stuff. Let's assume they get impressed. And then I go, I got Leah on the line. You didn't know this, but Leah's great. I'm coaching her up right now live on the air. Leah would like to come back. Would you like Leah? And they said, yeah, we'd love to have Leah back. We love Leah. She's awesome. And they said, okay, Leah, you're back. Would you take it? Would you do it? Or would you still be worried about the stress because of the nature of that work, CPS, and all the things that I heard kind of behind the lines there, between the lines, while you're trying to get this graduate degree? Would you take it?
I think I would. And then I've also thought about switching departments in the new county I'm in too.
Well, then look it up. But you got to do your homework this time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's you walking over to the other building, having some coffee with some of the people that work in that department and asking, what's the culture like over here? What's the process like? Like, you know what's frustrating you about the workflow at this current place.
Yeah.
So you know what to look for, what to ask about. So you just got to do your research. Now, let me switch gears for a second. What are you getting your graduate degree in, and what is making you pursue that? What is the desired future beyond that?
I'm getting it in criminal justice, and I would like to move over into adult or juvenile probation, parole, that sort of thing.
Great. So you want to stay in this lane that you're already in. Well, then you do want to be careful about hopping. But again, it's government work. It's agency to agency. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. And then once you get that graduate level degree, you're hoping to apply for that anyway, right?
Yeah.
So the goal is, ideally, a year and a half from now, you're over in that side of things.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so you only have a year and a half. Let's call it 2 years. You're well connected. You're well liked. Is this true or false?
Yeah.
Okay, then. So we're talking at most a year and a half before you're looking to leave whatever position you're going to be in anyway. So go somewhere where you're not miserable.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking, but then I get torn with stick it out with perseverance versus being comfortable.
Yeah, but here's the deal. Do you know how hard it is to persevere when you're miserable?
Really hard. It's been miserable this whole week.
It's really hard. You know when it's easier to persevere? When you're missional. Oh, somebody needs to write that down. That is good advice, Leah. That is good. It is hard to persevere when you are miserable. It is much easier to persevere when you are missional, meaning when I have a desired future in front of me, an outcome that I am deeply committed to. That's mission. Well, I'll persevere through tough times. I'll persevere. So if I want to lose 150 pounds, or I want to run a marathon, or I am going to persevere through the training because I have a goal to finish a marathon. But if I have no goal and I'm just sitting around the house and my knees hurting all the time, how much longer am I going to put up with my knee hurting? It's miserable. It's impossible to be joyful and happy and hopeful when you're dealing with chronic pain, right?
Right.
You got to go deal with the pain. So that's your situation right now. I want your head up, your eyes up, move forward, get a temporary landing place that is a good environment for you while you finish up, because you are getting qualified and you need to be getting connected, stage 2 and 3 of the 7 stages that I teach. And so you're going to get started in a year and a half on this true direction. I'm proud of you. Thank you for the call, Leah. You are a rock star. There it is, folks. I'm going to go develop that content as soon as the show is over. You matter. You have what it takes. Press on.
Thanks for listening to The Ken Coleman Show. For more, you can find the show on demand wherever you listen to podcasts and watch the show on YouTube. You can also find Ken across all social media by following @Ken Coleman.